Most people don't realize that emotional highs can hijack the brain in the same way substances do. That rush you feel after intense love, sudden success, or dramatic conflict is not just a feeling, it is chemistry. Psychology explains why emotional highs feel like addiction. By the end of this, you will understand what happens in your brain during these peaks, why calm can start to feel boring afterward, and how this cycle quietly shapes relationships, ambition, and even your sense of identity. Emotional highs exist for a reason. When something exciting or meaningful happens, your brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is not just a pleasure chemical, it is a motivation chemical. It tells your brain, this matters, do this again. Along with dopamine, you may also experience adrenaline and norepinephrine. Your heart rate increases, your focus sharpens, time feels different, the moment feels amplified. The brain marks it as important. Now, here is where it becomes powerful. The brain does not clearly distinguish between healthy excitement and chaotic intensity. It simply tracks stimulation. The stronger the emotional spike, the stronger the imprint. Have you ever noticed how intense experiences stay in your memory longer than peaceful ones? That is not accidental. High emotional arousal strengthens neural pathways. Your brain becomes more likely to seek similar intensity again. This is where the addiction-like pattern begins. When you experience a dramatic romantic connection, for example, the unpredictability can heighten the high. One day there's overwhelming affection, the next day there's distance. That fluctuation increases dopamine release. The uncertainty keeps you focused. Intermittent reinforcement is one of the most powerful conditioning patterns in psychology. When rewards are unpredictable, you chase them more. It's the same mechanism that keeps people pulling a slot machine lever. Now, pause for a moment. Have you ever confused intensity with love? Emotional highs in relationships often come from contrast. The reconciliation after a fight feels euphoric because your nervous system was in stress mode. When safety returns, relief floods the body. That relief feels like passion. But relief is not the same as stability. The brain also adapts quickly. This is called hedonic adaptation. After a strong high, your baseline resets slightly higher. What once felt thrilling becomes normal, so you seek a bigger stimulus. In work life, this can look like constantly chasing achievement. A promotion feels incredible for a short time, then the satisfaction fades. You look for the next milestone. On social media, it may look like chasing validation. A post performs well, dopamine spikes. The brain remembers. You check notifications repeatedly. The behavior is reinforced. Here is the surprising insight. Emotional highs are not addictive because they feel good. They are addictive because they temporarily silence discomfort. When you're in a high, there's no self-doubt, no anxiety about the future, no lingering regret from the past. Your mind is fully absorbed. That relief from mental noise can be intoxicating. For some people, especially those who struggle with chronic stress or emptiness, emotional intensity becomes a form of escape. Calm feels unfamiliar, stillness feels uncomfortable, so they unconsciously create drama. Conflict triggers adrenaline, reconciliation triggers dopamine. The cycle repeats. In friendships, this might look like constant crises. In workplaces, it might look like thriving under chaos, but feeling restless in stable environments. The nervous system gets used to operating at high stimulation levels. Have you ever felt strangely bored when life is finally peaceful? That boredom is not a flaw, it's a withdrawal from intensity. The brain, when deprived of high dopamine spikes, can temporarily feel flat. Motivation drops, energy dips. You might interpret that as something being wrong, but often it's recalibration. Another layer to this pattern is identity. If someone grows up in an unpredictable environment, emotional highs and lows may feel normal. Stability may feel unfamiliar. The brain associates intensity with connection. So, when calm relationships appear, they feel less exciting. The absence of drama is misinterpreted as lack of chemistry. But what if chemistry is sometimes just nervous system activation? This changes how you interpret attraction. There is also a social reinforcement component. Society often glorifies intensity, dramatic love stories, risk-taking entrepreneurs, extreme transformations. We celebrate peaks, not balance. But the nervous system pays the price. Long-term emotional stability does not produce constant dopamine spikes. It produces regulated serotonin and oxytocin patterns. These feel calmer, deeper, less explosive. And because they are less explosive, they are often underestimated. Consider this question carefully. Do you feel more alive in chaos than in consistency? Your answer reveals how your brain has been conditioned. The good news is that awareness alone can shift this pattern. When you understand that emotional highs feel addictive because of brain chemistry, you stop personalizing the experience. You stop labeling yourself as dramatic or weak. You start observing. Instead of chasing the next high, you can pause and ask, what am I actually seeking? Is it excitement or escape? There is nothing wrong with joy, passion, or ambition. The problem begins when intensity becomes the only state that feels meaningful. True psychological strength is the ability to tolerate calm. It is the ability to sit in a steady relationship without manufacturing conflict, to work towards goals without burning out for the rush, to enjoy success without needing constant escalation. This does not mean suppressing emotion. It means regulating it. One practical shift is learning to find reward in small, consistent wins. The brain can be retrained. When you consciously acknowledge steady progress, you reinforce new pathways. Over time, stability begins to feel satisfying. It may not feel as dramatic, but it feels sustainable. Another shift is becoming comfortable with discomfort that is not dramatic. The quiet discomfort of boredom, the subtle discomfort of routine. When you sit with it instead of escaping into intensity, your nervous system learns safety and calm. That is real growth. Emotional highs are not the enemy. They are part of being human. Falling in love, achieving something meaningful, experiencing adventure, these are beautiful parts of life. The danger lies in depending on them to feel alive. When your brain believes only intensity equals meaning, it pushes you to extremes. But meaning can also be found in depth, not just height. The core insight is simple but powerful. Emotional highs feel like addiction because they activate the same reward circuits in the brain. They create spikes of dopamine and relief from psychological discomfort. The brain remembers that relief and seeks it again. But you are not controlled by your chemistry. You can understand it. You can work with it. The next time you feel drawn to intense drama, overwhelming romance, or relentless achievement, pause. Ask whether you're chasing elevation or avoiding stillness. That question can shift the trajectory of your relationships and your goals. If this perspective helped you see your patterns more clearly, reflect on it. Share what resonates with you. Continue exploring how your mind shapes your experiences. Because the more you understand your emotional wiring, the less likely you are to mistake intensity for fulfillment.